Are you over 50? So am I. In this podcast, I'll be talking about things we need to be aware of as we garden over the age of 50 and into the future. This will be featured on the Subtropical Gardening podcast and also on the Ultimate Gardening Tips YouTube channel. So there's going to be lots of information available. Now, the first thing is I want to talk about the benefits, why we should all be gardening into our 50s and later years. Health benefits obviously are the things. There's the physical attributes. This is a low impact exercise and it's wonderful for slowly working the joints of the knees, elbows, the back, everything. It helps with improved coordination, strength, and also flexibility. There's also the mental benefits where it helps with stress relief, improves our mood, our focus, and our connection to nature, which is known as biophilia, which is why I'm in the garden right now talking about this topic. The other thing, which we cannot underestimate, is the emotional boost we get through achieving goals. Every time we plant something and it grows, that's an achievement, which is really important as we get older, and especially for those who have retired, still achieving a benefit both for your garden and also for the environment. And the part that I love is sharing the experiences, whether it's through a not-for-profit group, a community group, a garden club, or just sharing your knowledge with other people who are keen to garden. Now, this podcast video is all about helping you to enjoy gardening into the future, the 50s, 60s, and beyond. Now, my name is Paul. I'm a qualified horticulturist. I've been in this industry for over 30, 40 years. I've been working in the nursery industry, the landscape industry, the interior plantscape industry. I've assisted in writing books and magazines. I've also been an editor of a gardening magazine, and I've been doing gardening radio for in excess of 20 years with a lot of inquiries coming in and me passing on that knowledge. Hence, I'm in a really good position, I think, to pass on some of this through personal experience and talking through the hundreds, thousands of people I've had the opportunity to share this knowledge through, both with education and in horticultural media. As I mentioned, this is both on the Subtropical Gardening podcast and also on the Ultimate Gardening YouTube Tips channel. Hope you enjoy this video. If you have, please press the like buttons. And if you've got any questions or any comments, please add them into the comment section. Now let's get started. The first thing I want people to be aware of are some of the ergonomic and accessible issues that we have to address and the solutions. So probably one of the key things we want to do is to reduce the amount of bending over. So having raised garden beds will definitely help us do gardening. Also, the width is really important. If it's too wide, we end up stretching and causing pain to the lower back. We don't want to put pressure on our body, so a raised garden bed to the right height is really important. There's also a move and a trend to vertical gardens, and this is where you're having people living in smaller apartments. They're putting gardens on walls, which is easy accessible, easy to grow, and easy to harvest, especially if you're growing vegetables and herbs. Now, ergonomic tools is a really important thing. So you get tools like these pruners with really long handles, and they reduce the stress and the pressure and makes pruning so much easier. There's a whole range of tools available. If you head to your local garden center, they can give you advice. Remember everything from secateurs to pressure pumps to pruners. They have developed mechanical devices to assist us as we get older so that we can continue gardening. And it is worth purchasing those products to help us garden into the future. There's also things like kneeling pads, very important. As we garden, we kneel down a lot, so please protect your knees, and gardening benches. If you're doing a lot of gardening, rather than crouching down on the ground or doing stuff on the ground, why not raise everything up? It's just like a work environment. In nursery, all the benches are at a decent height and a seat, so it's really good on the back, the shoulders, the neck, the whole lot. Why not replicate what is in the industry, which works, so that we can adopt that at home as well? The other thing I'd like to mention is with these garden tables, some have wheels or carts, so you can take them into the garden. So you don't have to necessarily bring all the plants back up to the shed. You can take this portable garden tool device down into the garden area. You put your tools in there, the potting mix in there, and you can do it in situ in the place where you're trying to do any of that gardening. So that's a really good idea to consider. The other thing for ergonomics is pathways. We need to make sure they're safe, there's non-slippery surfaces, and they're wide enough for us to easily access and to walk around. Now, if you do have a mobility device, a scooter or even one of those hand wheel support devices, your pathways need to be wide enough so that you can get around the garden and do what you want to do. That said, there are some wonderful devices which also have seats built into them, so they're multifunctional, and they, I think, are absolutely fantastic. Now, the next thing I'd like to bring up is smart planting and maintenance. Now, this is all about trying to reduce the maintenance in the garden. Choosing the right plant for the climate, so find out where you live. Tropics, subtropics, cool, temperate, warm, temperate, arid area, wherever you live, determine the climate zone you are in and choose plants that are best suited for that climate. Now, what that means is those plants are better adapted, less maintenance for you to look after those plants so that they achieve the foliage, the flowers, all of those wonderful things that the plants do. Select plants best suited for your climate and your soil. Also think about what is the desired feature of the plant you're trying to achieve. So with anthuriums, it's the flowers. What do I need to do to best create the best shape and flowers for this particular plant and create the situation that achieves that? If you're trying to, for example, create a hedging screen and you only want it to grow to 2 meters, it's about 6 foot, you want a plant that will reach approximately that height or a little bit higher. That is a better choice than buying a plant that potentially can reach 6 meters, but you have to constantly prune it and maintain it to keep it to the height that you are trying to achieve. So identify the determined desire you are after and then select plants that achieve that objective. Now, whether it's native or non-native, again, completely up to you. But choosing a plant, I think, should not be purely based on native or non-native. Choose the best plant for the site and for your outcome that you're trying to achieve. In some cases, it is native plants. In some cases, it may not be native plants. On that point, with maintenance, I really recommend trying to avoid spiky plants. And the reason being is as we get older, our skin gets a lot thinner and it does break and tear more easily and takes longer to heal itself. So if you can avoid spikes, prickles, and thorns, it will actually help you in your health achieve a better outcome. The next one, which is part of smart gardening and maintenance, is of course compost and mulch. Now, composting, once you start the process, will add nutrition to the soil, improves the soil structure, and helps to reduce the need for fertilizers in the future. So what you're doing is as you compost, you are reducing your future costs for your garden, which is a great thing to do. The other thing is that because you're adding this material to your soil, you will notice the beneficial microbes and fungi and earthworms will increase. So you're helping the biodiversity of the soil health. So as you get older, you're helping the plant mature and become healthier for the longer term. And as for mulch, well, that's put on the surface of your garden beds. It helps protect the soil. During rainy periods, it helps protect it from heavy downpours, it reduces erosion, and as that slowly decomposes, it suppresses the weeds at the same time, adds organic matter to the soil. So it's a multifunctional, beneficial thing to add to your garden to achieve smart planting, smart gardening, and lower maintenance. Another thing to remember, trying to achieve this objective as we garden to make life easier, is to look at watering. So a lot of people are turning towards irrigation systems to reduce the amount of time needed to look after the garden. If you are listening, I hope the cicadas in the background are not too loud. And I'm sitting underneath a tree, so occasionally it'll go from light to slightly dark. So this is called natural lighting, folks. Hope you can adjust. So watering, we are looking at self-watering containers as we get older. We're looking at using pots that hold water a little bit longer so we don't have to water as long. And also choosing plants that don't need as much watering. That's a key thing if you want to reduce maintenance in your garden. When to water? Well, that will depend upon the plant. Some plants will appreciate water in the morning, some in late afternoon. We do not recommend watering in the middle of the day when it's hot because it's stress for you, the gardener, and it's probably a concern for everyone else. So water only in the morning with your cup of tea or coffee, or in the afternoon with your cup of tea or coffee, and just relax and enjoy the experience and as the plants are growing. Another thing which most people overlook when trying to create a smart planting, a smart gardening and low maintenance is to actually increase biodiversity, as I have a fly flying around me right now. Now, the reason for this is if you increase pollinators in your garden, you end up increasing predators. So the predators will eat some of the good, but also all the bad pests that you hate. And by doing that, it produces an equilibrium of the pest population increases, then the predator population increases. The pests control the predators control the pests, the pest population decreases, the predators control the pests, and then overall an equilibrium is produced over time. What this means for you is you don't need to rely on pesticides because the natural predators over time will look after all of that. And besides that, it's really good having bees, butterflies and insects in the garden because it does add a bit of movement, a bit of life, biodiversity to your garden. The last group of things I really wish to press is to do with safety, pacing, and enjoyment, of course. So take regular breaks. If you can work for, say, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, take a break for the rest of that hour period and then get back into gardening. Now, schedule this in terms of the day temperatures. If you know the temperatures are going to be unbearable after 8 o'clock, do your gardening before it. If the temperatures are unbearable all the way until, say, after 3:30, wait until after 3:30, then do your gardening. So time your gardening to a temperature that's more conducive. And of course, take water with you wherever you go outside. Listen to your body. If it is thirsty, drink water. If the heart is pumping a bit too fast, take a break. Sit down in a cool spot and relax. Do not push through pain because that can cause more problems as we get older. Enjoy the process of gardening. Don't make it painful. Remember, you're after the result. You're after an enjoyable experience and to create some beautiful plants that you can enjoy. Where possible, make it a bit of a routine task when it comes to maintenance. Every morning, if you have a cup of tea or coffee, grab that and walk around the yard and then do some of your garden maintenance tasks at the same time. It could be as simple as looking for pests and diseases on certain plants. It could be pulling 1 or 2 weeds out every morning. Trust me, over time, you'll control virtually all the weeds. Just give it a little bit of time. Seating is important. I'm sitting down right now in one of my favorite types of seats. This is a portable seat I take around with me, and it's just nice and comfortable. So when you're walking around the garden, look at places where you can have a seat built, or maybe some stumps or rocks that you can use and substitute. Just trying to get out of that bright shaft of sun. Try to find some rocks or stumps that you can sit on and relax in the garden itself. Also, safety. I do recommend when you're walking around, walk around with a walking stick or a staff. This is really important if you're trying to stand up after you've been down on the ground doing some weeding. It also helps stabilize you as you're walking through different levels of the ground. So on my property, I have incredible elevation at the front and then it reduces all the way down to the back area. It's a bit unstable, and sometimes I'll hold on to tree trunks and other things and stakes and poles to go through some of the really awkward areas. It's both safety and for stability, and there's no shame in using a support when you're walking around your yard. You're better being safe than sorry. Additionally, when you walk around, take your phone or a safety buzzer. If you're down the back of a property and you've got large acreage or hectares, you need the ability to ring up if there's an emergency, a snake bite, a tree has fallen down, any of those things. As we get older, we have to be aware that our safety is a little bit more subjective and we take risks which sometimes we should not. So having a phone or an emergency buzzer is very helpful. As an example, I know some of my friends, colleagues have family members who have Alzheimer's. And for them, it's very important to have a buzzer with them, the people going out, so that if something happens, there is the ability for them to press that button very quickly if something does happen. But that said, mobile phone, I think everyone these days has one. Just carry that with you. As I mentioned, water, always carry this with you as well. And I know here in Australia, I recommend people take a safety kit with you because of the snakes, the spiders and everything else. And Americans, you have snakes as well. So no matter where you go, it is wise to have a safety kit somewhere close to you. And if you carry a pouch or something with you when you garden, consider taking a safety kit with you because Band-Aids are really important. I nick myself quite often with particular plants or with the secateurs. It's very good to be able to treat the cut, put some ointment on it and put a Band-Aid over it as fast as possible to stop infection and other problems that may occur in the future. Sun protection is really important. Where's my hat? My very unattractive hat, but very functional. Very broad rim is very important rather than a sports cap, which just does the front. You need to protect sun damage to your ears, the back of your neck, and of course to your face. So a hat is critical when you are gardening. So as we say, slip, slop, slap, and slide. Sun visors or sun visors. What am I saying? Sunglasses, that's it. They are all very important things to put on when you are gardening outside. Finally, now that's the whole gamut. I'd like to summarize all of that into this. Health benefits. Please remember, gardening is definitely worth doing. You're going to get physical, mental, and emotional benefits out of gardening, whether you do it with a garden club or at your own personal home. Where possible, if you can stay home and continue with your garden fanatic passion, please do, because your garden is growing. And all those years, the decades you put into it, it's worth looking and watching them grow, mature, flower, and do whatever they do, whether it's fruit, veggies, or just ornamental native plants. There are other concerns. And as I've raised, there's the ergonomic and accessibility solutions that are available that you probably should adopt and look for. Now, I will put a couple of links in the comments section under my description for links to particular products I think are worthwhile. Now, some of those I might have links where I might get a commission through Amazon, some I don't, but I have that little disclaimer there just in case. Smart planting and maintenance is all about choosing the right plant and understanding what you're trying to achieve in your particular garden and trying to do it within the limits physically of you and how much time you have available. And of course, safety, pacing, and enjoyment. Do it at a pace you can. Think about the safety issues that should be addressed when you are gardening outdoors. And above all, enjoy gardening. And that's my video for today as part of the Subtropical Gardening Podcast. Hope you have enjoyed it. If you've got any suggestions or comments that you would love to add, I can always do a follow-up at a later date. But that's the video for today. Let me just get out of that beam of sunlight. That's a little bit better. Hope you have enjoyed the video for today. And until the next time, these videos, podcasts on the subtropical gardening are done once every single week. If you have enjoyed this, check some of the previous ones. I've done some on the garden trends of Australia, the garden trends around the world, gardening as we get older, a little bit like this one, that's a whole separate video just on that. And of course, I feature a whole lot of plants which are either specialist just for a subtropical climate or just really interesting focal feature plants that are worthy of highlighting. Also for the future, we will be doing a lot more interviews. I'm just fine-tuning that right now over the next few weeks, and hopefully they will be coming through in the next few weeks, the next few months. So until then, happy gardening and enjoy this year, which is 2026. Cheers for now.